Your disabled or mentally disabled or autistic child is always a child. That's not technically really a good thing to do. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, welcome back to the diary. So today I want to talk about why keeping a disabled, mentally disabled or autistic child as a child isn't always a good thing. So while it's one thing that your disabled, mentally disabled or even autistic child might not leave home because they are incapable or that they physically cannot manage living by themselves, while that's one thing, you don't want to go treating them or keeping them as a child, because that stunts their development. The only thing that's really truly different about a disabled or mentally disabled or even autistic person is the fact that they learn a bit slower, that they take a bit longer to learn things. So while it's okay that they're not leaving home, or if some autistic people take a bit longer to leave home, it's not a problem, it's fine. You can then be using that time to teach them how to be independent, teach them how to be an adult, because they will grow up, they will not stay your little child forever. I've noticed this is often worse when the disabled, mentally disabled or even autistic person has siblings. Like in my case, I'm the youngest child. I'm often treated like a child. My mum will turn around and say, "No, I'm treating you like a vulnerable adult." However, she doesn't seem to take note of the choices, well, not necessarily the choices, but the reasons why I've made the choices I've made. She doesn't seem to take note that I have actually thought it through. I might not have thought it through properly, and I might not have thought it through all the way, but I still have thought it through. And that's the behaviour you want to encourage. You want to encourage your kids to think things through. You want to encourage your kids to make mistakes, to make their own choices. Dressing them up as if they're still in school when they're 25 isn't a good idea, because not only are they going to get laughed at, or they're going to get funny looks, and you're going to get funny looks, because they're 25 and they're dressing like they're still in junior school. In the UK, we've got infant, primary, junior. Primary and junior are technically the same thing, it's just that primary encases infant and junior together. So we've got infant, junior, and secondary, and then we've got college. But if you're dressing them like they're still in primary school or junior school, then you're kind of just freezing time, and freezing time isn't the best of ideas, because if you freeze time, your adult can regress, as it were. You see this in toddlers. If you've got a 1 or 2 year old kid and you're still sitting them at the table in a high chair and feeding them, spoon feeding them, they're going to expect that. They're going to sit in the high chair and they're just going to be there like waiting for you to put the spoon in the mouth, or the fork, or whatever you're using, rather than going and learning how to do it for themselves. Yes, an autistic person or a mentally disabled person or even a disabled person might not be able to do that for themselves, or they might take longer to learn that. That's fine. That's the thing, parents. If you've got kids like that, it's okay for them to take a bit longer. It's okay for you to be there for a bit longer. What's not helpful for you is still treating them like a baby. It will be stressful, because you will likely have mess, you will likely have fights, you will likely have arguments at the dinner table with your kid. However, you're still then teaching them how to be like every other kid. You're still then treating them like the age they are. Granted, again, if they're in a chair and they can't necessarily do things for themselves, that's a bit different. But it doesn't mean that you need to be using baby bowls and baby spoons with them. There's kids that are in wheelchairs that are a lot like Stephen Hawking. They literally cannot move or speak for themselves, but they can be fed. But the problem is that some parents are then treating them like they're still sort of a baby or still sort of a toddler. I mean, there's this disease that makes you look younger than you physically are. So basically, you are physically, you have the physical capability of a 2-year-old. However, you could be 15. The point I'm trying to make is, at that point with that disease, do you dress them like they're 2? Or do you dress them like they're 15? Do you treat them like they're 2 years old, or do you treat them like they're 15? That's my point. If they are that age, then it's better off treating them as that age. Even though their physical capability might mean that they cannot walk or talk or do anything for themselves. Because of their disability, they're stuck in that stage of being like they're 2 years old or looking like they're 2 years old. So you've got that problem and that choice to make. What I'm trying to say is, it's not a good idea to stick to the outward look of things. If someone looks like they're 2 years old but they're 15 because of this disease, it's better to treat them like they're 15, even if they can't necessarily do stuff themselves. So you have, like, maybe not quite so much of a bigger fork, because obviously they've got a smaller mouth, and obviously because they're obviously looking like they're 2, but you don't need to give them a 2-year-old's fork or a 2-year-old's spoon. Maybe just a little normal, ordinary teaspoon that we use. For Americans, if you don't use teaspoon, it's the really small one. It's the one that you stir coffee with. So you feed them that way, if you still need to feed them. All I'm really trying to say is, if you need to spoon feed them, then spoon feed them. But you don't need to spoon feed them with the utensils and the plates and bowls that you would use for a toddler. You don't need to use the stuff you'd use for a baby. While they are your little baby and they are a bit mentally younger than they physically are, you don't need to treat them like that. Make allowances for it, not treat them that way. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. Make allowances for them to be like that, or make allowances for them being that way. You don't need to treat them as if they are that age, because they're not. So, just be careful about how you treat your disabled kids, and be aware that they will have likely thought stuff through. Still teach them the things you would teach a non-disabled or a non-autistic person. Teach them the same way. If it doesn't work and they're not getting it, then try something different. Try a different way. Try something more fun. Autistic kids in particular will more likely engage more if what you're doing is fun. So make a game of it. Make a game out of it. So that's it, guys. Just make allowances for the problem, but don't treat them like they're any younger than they are because of it, basically. So today's question is, has everyone sorted out their Christmas list? Has everyone worked out what they're buying for who? Let me know down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime.